Dorothy Jewson's life can best be summated in three ways: suffrage, pacifism and politics. She was a strong woman, there's no doubt about that, and at the beginning of the 20th century, women still had a long way to go to be on an equal footing with men. She was born in August 1884. She was the daughter of George and Mary Jewson. Her father was the head of the builders' merchants business, and in her teens, the family moved to this imposing house on Brackendale.
She was educated at the Norwich High School for Girls, then located at the Assembly House, from whence she went to Cheltenham Ladies' College and then Cambridge. She became a school teacher, firstly in Kingston, Surrey, and then here in Norwich. I'm meeting with Frank Mears, whose book on Dorothy Jewson was recently published.
Dorothy first got involved in the suffragette cause when she was at Cambridge University, which in itself was quite unusual for a woman to achieve. Naturally, all the women who were at Girton College in Cambridge were inclined to be in favour of women's rights and therefore keen on the suffragette movement. And therefore, after that, she joined. There are many suffragette movements, all of which have different acronyms. The one she joined was known as the WSPU, the Women's Social and Political Union. And this is probably the most well known because this is the one that was organised by Emmeline Pankhurst and her daughters, and was the one which indulged in what used to be called outrages, acts of protest.
The outbreak of the Great War in 1914 marked the second stage in Dorothy's life in politics. As a pacifist, she was instinctively opposed to war. She joined the anti-war group led by Herbert Whittard, attended meetings at this building on Queen's Road, listened to and met with Scottish socialist Keir Hardie when he visited Norwich to speak. She was one of the many objectors in Norwich.
She first stands for Parliament. She wins the election here in Norwich and takes her seat in Parliament, indeed because she's the first of the small number of female MPs who were elected to actually sign the register in the House of Commons. She's always regarded as the first of that intake, yes, and therefore one, probably the fourth or fifth ever woman to sit in the Houses of Parliament.
She was extremely active, speaking mainly on women's and family matters. But it was a short-lived Parliament, just 1 year, and in 1924 Dorothy was defeated. She stood several more times, but with no success. From 1927, she was involved in local politics as a Norwich City Councillor, serving for 9 years.
Because in those days, it was normal for men who could work, who were unemployed, not to be given a dole, as we would call it today, but to be given a job to do and a respectable wage at the end of a week. And the things in which they were employed have sort of made up much of the infrastructure of Norwich today. People who go to parks like Eaton Park, Wenston Park, these were entirely created as job opportunities for the unemployed. I think our lives today are the better for Dorothy Jewson.
So what is the legacy of Dorothy Jewson? Well, certainly her work for women's suffrage in the years leading up to the Great War. Her brief time in Parliament when she campaigned vociferously on both family and women's matters. Despite the limited vote of 1918, it was another decade, the Equal Franchise Act of 1928, when women finally got equal voting rights as men. And for us here in Norwich, well, it's the parks. Here at Eton, Wensum, Higham, Waterloo, all of them built in the 20s and 30s, and all of them enjoyed today.